is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Roy. Here we go again. The more things change, the more things stay the same. 14 months ago, we asked the American people to give us the majority. They entrusted us with the majority running primarily on fiscal responsibility and securing the border. 13 months ago, we roundly condemned the omnibus, the $1.6 trillion omnibus that was put in place, the Christmas omnibus 13 months ago, and yet we're operating today and now extending the very Biden-Pelosi-Schumer policies that are bankrupting the country, destroying the country, and under which the American people are suffering today. Suffering, you ask. Yes, suffering under record 40-year high inflation, 20-year high interest rates, the average American family paying about $1,000 a month for the same essentials that they were paying, $1,000 more a month than they were paying when this president was first elected 3 years ago. We've got a $200 billion monthly deficit, $2.5 trillion a year. As has already been said, we're $34 trillion in national debt. We'll be $36 trillion by the time we get to this next election. And we have the majority in one half of the legislative branch. When will that begin to account for something? When will that begin to matter for something? When you have the majority in one branch or one house of one branch, shouldn't you get half of what your policy priorities are? Shouldn't you get half of your spending objectives? And yet what we seem to do over and over, we decide what the Senate will take, what the president will sign, and that's what we send to the other body. That's what we send. When we have the majority here in this very House, when is that going to matter? What are we prepared to do, and what are the red lines that are we willing to draw, and what are we not willing to do just to keep government open? To say that we're getting things done, to say that we're working together, to say that we're showing that we can govern. And yet we're not even willing to risk a temporary pause in the 15% of the non-essential part of the government in order to try to force change here in Washington. No, we're going to continue the status quo. And here we are once again. We did this in May with the Failed Responsibility Act. We did it with the continuing resolution in September. We did it with the continuing resolution in November. We did it with the NDAA. We did it with the FISA extension without reforms. And here we are today. We're going to pass another major piece of legislation, predominantly with Democrat votes, minority votes, when we have the House majority. This is a loser for the American people. It's a loser for the country. And just yesterday, we've said how many times have we said on our side, hey, the border is the fight to have. The polls overwhelmingly show that's the #1 issue to the American people. And they blame the Biden administration. They blame the president for his failed border policies that are facilitating the border invasion. Just yesterday, 14 Democrats from the minority party voted with us to condemn, denounce, and call for an end to the president's open border policies.
The gentleman is not recognized.
3 additional seconds.
30 additional seconds.
14 Democrats vote yesterday to condemn, denounce, and call for an end to the president's open border policies. And we could have utilized that momentum to attach border security to this continuing resolution and dared the Senate to vote against it and dared the Senate to vote against funding the government and securing the border, and we failed to do even that. And I yield back to the chairman.
Reserve.
Gentleman yields back.